Hey yo guys, how is it going? Tally here, and we are here with dear friend of the channel who has just done something incredibly important, next big step in his Yu-Gi-Oh career, and it's Jamie. Tell us what you did today, pal.
Got my first top.
Your first regional top in Glasgow. Wait, let's not. Glasgow's actually a really competitive area, so a top in Glasgow regionals isn't particularly easy, right? And you played this deck. What is this deck?
So this is Orcust Cyber.
Orcust Cyber, right, okay. Do you want to just take us through it? Take as much time.
No
You
worries.
deserve this, right? Take as much time as you need.
No worries.
We'll let you go through everything as much as you want to.
He very much deserves this. He did fantastic.
So, it's going to be fairly similar to most builds that you're familiar with. So, of course, 3 Cyber Dragon. Main man carried us through.
And this is the ulti Cyber Dragon.
It is indeed.
Pretty.
3 core,
Yep.
3 hairs, 2 nacht. 2 nacht was very solid. I would often find if I particularly knew if I was going second in a game, I would sometimes side out just to 1, just to make space if I wanted to put in other side decking cards. Came up a lot. Ironically enough, didn't ever use this to really summon much back, more just as an extender.
But this can, just before we move, this can summon Dingrisa, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty
anything
sick.
with 2,100 attack or defense, this machine.
That's pretty sick.
2 Galaxy Soldier, not 3, just 2 when you're, because this is a going first build, so you don't want this to break your hand very often. 2 Orcust Nightmare. I was very fortunate to never draw into that twice. Trademark staple, Heart Potter, again, mixed rarity, because that seems to be a staple of mine now.
Next we 2 of.
1 Skeleton. 1 Gizmic. This was probably the card of the day.
Yeah.
Gizmic came up so many times, whether it was to block Boil Sword, bait things out, or just work as an extender. This card put in the work today. You can overlay it with Fortress as well for an instant in Gearsu. Couldn't rate that card highly enough.
That was so underrated when it came out as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Sleeper for the period of weeks.
Yeah.
Standard Danger Package, 2 Nessie, 2 Jack, and 2 Tsushinoko. So then for our spells, again fairly standard. Went for 3 Cyber Emergency, 3 Machine Duplication.
Again, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous ulti. Like, oh yeah, that's one of my favourites. That and Cyber Dragon legit are some of my favourite ultis.
We have then got 3 Called by the Grave. Ironically, this barely came up today. It normally should. I just feel like I wasn't drawing it a lot, but it did come up. Ironically, the best match I had was against Altergeist. When I was playing them, I kept drawing into the Call by the Grave, and I was actually using it to stop the seat, to stop the cell. It actually came out really useful. It was probably what won me that match.
Sick.
So 1 Cyber Repair Plan. Again, the way that this deck plays, you're only really ever going to want to resolve 1. In this build, I never found myself wanting more. Rev System, free extender, searchable. Came up quite a few times, especially in tight niche moments. Rate this very highly. Foolish Burial, standard, send anything off. 1 Monster Reborn. This was just really good because you could either bait things out. I have seen lists that cut this, but you could bait things out with this really easily because it's normally a very easy target for negation. There was a few times as well where I would just summon back other links to make a ball, so I'd play it out of nowhere when they thought they'd be able to protect, and that would just give me the edge.
And as well, it's like just a bit of tally input. It's also one of those like it's a good 39th card. Like,
well, in this case, it would be the 37th. This is 41 card build.
okay.
So that's the spells. For our traps, 2 Cybernetic Overflow. Stuck with 2 because you want to see it in your opening hand sometimes because it might make it easier for you to make your Infinity if you're not so worried about searching this. This card came up, I can't even begin to stress how much this came up today in terms of winning matches. A lot of the time, particularly in the mid-match or a slug match, I would really rely on getting those pops and just stopping them comboing off. You know, there was one match near the final where I was getting hand trapped every time I got a Bestoel or a Delancey. I was just getting crippled every turn, and I would often just end up floating onto or sitting on the overflow, and that would just give me the edge. Just being able to break their board, having enough resources to then come back next turn. And then, of course, 1 Crescendo.
Yeah, it's not Orcust if you're not playing the counter trap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, see, you've probably seen it as well. Like, people just kept cutting things. Like, as Galatea targets over time. Like, started with that Babel. And what's the draw spell?
Orchestrated Return.
Yeah, so it started that, and then they're like, we don't really use return too much, and now we're literally just on the counter trap. Cool. So that's the main.
So again, this their strength's fairly standard here. 1 Almirage enables pretty much everything. Link off core, so on. straight into this. It was so important, you can't really get your combo start without it. One Nightmare Mermaid. This got negated at least 8 times today, and I swear every time it got negated I was holding Orcust Nightmare Orcust Nightmare in hand for the discard fodder, so it was always like a painful negate because we were like, it's not quite doing enough. Now, 1 Phoenix and 1 Cerberus for the Nightmare package. This was a really close call. I ended up changing this last night. I did play 2 Phoenix because this deck is so weak to control, but I ended up going back to 1 Cerberus because I was doing a lot of testing yesterday, and one of the things I found, particularly against a Guard Dragon board, pendulums and so on, when I'm climbing back up and making my plays, sort of trying to bait out the responses, I often would find that there'd be just one thing left, a hot red or something like that, and having a Cerberus just help me deal with that. Otherwise I could end up losing in the long run just because I would expend so many resources just to get bodied by the end. So I did go to Cerberus. It did come up once or twice today. I didn't actually really utilise a lot of these due to my matchups, which were quite what I'd expect. No Thunders, only 1 Pendulum. 2 Galatea, fairly standard. 1 Lungirsu, 1 Boil Sword Dragon. So that's it for the links. For Fusion, 1 Rampage. So what a lot of people didn't realise is that with the Nova, you can obviously bring this out with Nova. It's pretty much what makes you Nibiru proof. Nova is your 5th summon, they Nibiru it. That tags it into your Rampage. Rampage also has the effect of going first as well, which I didn't actually realise until very recently. The effect to send machines, you can actually resolve that going first, so depending on what you've done you can send Harrison Nacht and just make a mad recurrence, but even then, token plus Rampage, you're fine. They've tokened you Nibiru, you've got the Rampage, so you proceed to full combo from there. 1 Fortress, this came up.
How many times did you drop this in the mirror match?
So I actually only had 1 mirror match, and as in Cyber Orcust, and that was the guy that ended up winning the event. And according to him, I was the only person that pushed him into game 3, or took a game from him, as he said. Now I was using my Cyber Dragon mat, which isn't on display here because we have this to display. Yeah,
this is gorgeous.
I sat down, I had my Cyber Dragon Field Center, Cyber Dragon mat. You're like, Of course, this is a go first, and his build was almost identical. I think he was maining Super Poly. I think he was like, "Yeah, you can go first." So I ended up losing that match. Might have gone differently if I had been a little bit more subtle. Because he won the dice roll. I was like, "Oh, right, okay."
But that was your only match loss, yeah?
That was my only match loss, the guy that won.
Yeah, if you're going to lose to anyone, it might as well be the guy that won.
2 Mega Fleet, again, came up a lot. There was even times when I relied on just its body alone to deal with things. 2 was definitely the right call. Wouldn't always go into 2, but there was enough matches where 2 came up to justify it. 1 Nova, 1 Infinity, standard. The best boys. And then 1 Dingirsu, putting in the work today. He really came through in a lot of different ways. I made 1 screamer of a misplay. I ended up winning the match ultimately, but it was when I'd been really badly hand trapped. I had this with 1 material, an overflow set, and I had nothing to worry about. I knew I had to save the overflow for when they tried to make a combo in the Lunalite matchup. And they made Phoenix. I just totally spaced out, and they were like, target overflow, and like, chain overflow. And they then almost proceeded into full combo. I was able to recur back and still win, but it's a bit of a screamer of a misplay. So that's the extra deck there, fairly standard. So the side is what was really important today, if I can get it out. Siding was absolutely essential in a lot of the matches today.
Let's have a look.
A big throw up I had was between Droll and Lockbird and Lancia. Now Droll and Lockbird also comes up against Sky Strikers and so on, which funnily enough, despite prepping for it, I didn't see once today. So I ended up going with the 3 Lancia. It just gave me more general coverage. I can understand why you might go for Droll in the side, but this came up more, and I was expecting a lot of Orcust representation today, which there was.
Yeah.
I think I didn't play against it a huge amount, but when I did, this was winning the matches. 3 Nibiru did not drop the rock once today. He didn't come down once today.
Could not smell what the rock was cooking.
3 evenly matched, came up in the Altergeist match, that was about it. Favourite card. My favourite card of the siding strategy was the different dimension ground. Again, mixed rarity because I couldn't get a third ultra.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about this.
So this card is very simple. It's a trap. For the rest of the turn, any monster sent to the grave is banished instead. So why this is really important is you can't be contact fused underneath this because Mega Fleet and Fortress specifically state you need to send the above materials to the grave, so they can't activate it. So this was my replacement for Sanctum. You would play this, and you know, even without, even through Sanctum, you can still establish a presence. You can still make a board, protect a lot, set up disruptions, get your searches for traps and so on. But this just murdered everything. Anytime where I resolved this trap, it just won. Because even if I bricked really badly game one, you would resolve that and there was no coming back. Couldn't be contact fused. In the mirror matches it was vital, in Orcust builds it was vital, and just for any game in general where it's a resource game, this card was my favourite side deck today.
I haven't seen anyone play this. Like, you might be defining a format right here.
I don't think so. I can't remember, but I do believe the guy in the YCS that came second at Ghent, I think he was playing it. To my understanding, that's probably how I got wind of it. But not enough people, I think, looked at it and went, yeah, that's a solid shout.
Yeah.
But because there was a few times today I would resolve it and oh, what's that? And they'd read it. And there was just this, this sunken face. So for the last bit, 2 Twin Twisters. Again, I don't think I resolved it today. And the other card, instead of a third Twin Twister, I went for 1 Cyberload Fusion.
Right.
So again, obviously I still have the 1 Rampage in the extra deck, but the brilliant thing about Cyberload Fusion is I can search it. You can search it off the core, and so I could go, and if I didn't see any of the Twin Twisters, that was fine. I would still try and make some of my basic plays, bait out some of the negates, and then try and resolve core to search the Cyberload, and then just tag out and get however many pop. And in the mid game as well, if it was like that, if it was against Altergeist or Control variant decks, recurring the resources, getting the hers in that back, especially after you've resolved Gizmic 2-3 times, that was vital. So that was my decision, was to play 1 Cyberload instead of a third Twin Twister. Cyclones may have been preferable, but again, the massive representation today was combo Orcust. But yeah, so that was the deck profile.
Listen, again, my man, you really deserve this. You did amazing today. X1 it's so great, right? I'm really happy for you because we've been talking about it a wee bit. Let's head to the outro, guys. As always, if you liked it, give a like. If you loved it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about Team Tally today. Once again, Jamie, congratulations.
Nice one.
You have been amazing. I've been Tally. I'll catch you later. That's Aiden. Bye.